Yes, shall I take over the session?
Yeah, please, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Is my screen visible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible.
Yes, thank you. So good afternoon, one and all present here. So I think you would have known a very brief introduction about me from Dr. Divya. And she said my topic is AI, ML, and all those stuffs. And currently I'm associated into interdisciplinary researches where various social problems could be solved. So I would like to discuss something about with that as I move through the topics. And here and there, I would like to give what are the areas that you could explore for your researches in the future. So I'll just pave a way of where your research topics or your problems could be picked up. And if you have anything to discuss and anything to ask with me, you can stop me at any time. So feel free to interact with me. Only through interactions, I think I'll be able to deliver very good, creamy content to you people. Okay. So coming back. So the topic I was asked to discuss with you people is the futuristic research trends. So there are
Abirami,
many opportunities.
Sorry to interrupt. We couldn't see your PPT yet.
Now, ma'am?
Not again. Can you please close it and share it again? We are stuck with your team screen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Right. Is it visible now, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. All perfect.
Yes. Ma'am. So I was asked to discuss about the futuristic research trends only in the interdisciplinary approaches. So I think you would have made an extensive study of what is the current research areas, what is the trending topic lying out on the internet. So everything you would have studied it. So I would like to give you that small glitch of the integration of where the interdisciplinary actions can happen, which means how to integrate any two disciplinaries, which means how to combine an ECE with a CSE, a MEC with a CSE, and what are the research opportunities that's lying out there. So Divya ma'am, is my screen moving?
Yes, ma'am. You are good to go. Yeah, it's all well.
Yes. So I start with this particular motto of anytime, anywhere. So knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. So I would like to quote this for the technical stuff that we are accomplished with. So whenever we start a research, so it's probably the doctorates who is lying out here know how to start a research and how to proceed and everything. And this is for just the people who's about to start and who's on their research process. So many times I see many of the researchers to pick up a problem which they are not interested with or which they don't know what is the actual basic concept of it, and then to move towards a halfway and they hold on with the halfway. So first and foremost, we have to identify what is our capability. If I am expertised in AI, yes, it is AI for me to do my research. And what is the additional stuff that can be added into my AI? Be done. But as an AI, I seriously tell that I don't stick into any of the IoT projects in depth because I know IoT is not my area. So whatever you start, we should have a prior basic knowledge of where to start, how to start, and why to start it. And all these where, why, and how will give you a good knowledge about where you are in the particular topic. So we should know what is our expertise, and from there we have to start with it. So when we talking about the interdisciplinary approaches, first and foremost, what is the need for this interdisciplinary? Nowadays, whatever we touch, whatever we see, everything is being as a data. And what to do with this data is a big confusion for most of the people here. So what they thought was that we will have certain analytics to be included on everything that we have, everything that we see, everything that we hear. And out of analytics, they started putting out new versions in their own, be it a vehicle, be it a machinery, or be it any application software. After an analysis has been made, they started to give out their own versions of it. So in various multidisciplinary approaches, problems are being solved. So the one important advantage that is the perspective in looking out the problem, how to look out the problem in all directions, in every nook and corner of the problem. It has to be not only with the one domain knowledge. If it is security, yes, I see security as a security problem, but what happened, why is the security breach has come into picture, has to be analyzed only with the incorporation of my AI, all the other stuff. So I'm not elaborating only with the AI to any domain you take. Say, suppose I want an EV mission to develop. Where is it possible for me to develop an EV mission? How it can be made? What is the efficient way of doing it? Again, every people from CSE, mechanical, EC, everybody comes into picture, give their own knowledge, then an EV mission can be developed well. So like this, anything, anywhere in the real-time world, it's all interdisciplinary. So that's regarding the real-time problems. Regarding the research, why we say interdisciplinary approaches are better is that we tend to have very wider options in exploring the problem. Okay, so and also we have too much options to get our papers published. You have different domains of journals to get published. So whenever you pick any problem which is of interdisciplinary approaches, it is like giving out a new view to the problem that has already been dealt. For so many years, they would have dealt with a single dimension as a problem and a solution. But if you make it interdisciplinary, you will have a very wide range of knowledge there. So there's all some disadvantages of why do we go for interdisciplinary approaches. So, and as I said, societal needs are now needing for this interdisciplinary. One example is a climate change, and what is this a smart city development everywhere in healthcare sector, in satellite sectors, in medical field, especially in agricultural fields, so many stuffs, and even in our education fields also, we find this interdisciplinary to help us in finding out the better solutions all. So moving forward, with skipping all these basics because I've given very limited amount of time, I will just move on to the futuristic approach that brings the very good sustainability for the environmental needs. So sustainability is every problem as a solution. How am I going to model the solution in a right way so that the sustainability is being developed? So one such example is your energy solutions, where the energy sectors do accomplish different learning algorithms, and they find out how many energies is being spent, is acquired, is produced, all these, and your waste management, everywhere your futuristic approach in the environmental sustainability comes into the real-time picture. Okay, so the first one that I would like to discuss is on the healthcare sector. Though my area is on a broader way of AI and ML, I'm completely into this healthcare sector of interdisciplinary approaches, where I had to work with the autistic people and also cancer patients, and also are trying out this retina cancer. Okay, and we are finding out the early detection of it by having a solution for it, and we have doctors associated with the Eye Foundation, and we are doing it. So I think I'll be able to give you too many problems regarding this, and as I go through, okay, it's a like I could give you a hint or pave way for what can be your research in the healthcare sector and the medicine. Okay, so the first and foremost thing that I would like to discuss in the healthcare and medicine is that people take everything to be a diagnostic approach, which means they have a data set and they do classify it with either the person is positive for the disease or the person is negative for the disease. See, it was a good research, but now these researches are outdated. Simple classification of whether the person is diagnosed by cancer or not, benign or malignant. So all these cases have ruled out. Too many people have worked out, and it is really hard for us to compete with already what is existing and give a good accuracy and give a paper. And on the topmost, it is not being used for real world applications, just for a theoretical value and for the paper value. We can create any number of applications. We can create algorithms. We say 98% of accuracy, 99% of accuracy, but all these are ruled out, to be very frankly speaking. So the one thing that you could do with your healthcare sector is that you take your real-time problem where you approach your hospitals, do clustering, do involve medications around it, and all these are now in the trending way. Okay, so don't stick out to any of the medical data sets available in the net. So that is at least 20 to 23 data sets, you can pick it up and you can model and see what happens with the healthcare sector. But before that, any data sets that has got committed is of no use as of now, because it is observed and it is said by the doctors that the changes made in the human body after the corona is huge. So people are tending to react in a different way post this corona, which means the composition of medicine is reacting in an either way. In that case, if we are sticking on to the old data set, we only have the old data sets and we don't have a proven results for all that. So mostly don't pick up any data sets that's away from 2020 or 21. So take up a data set which you could create of your own, and with that data set keep a model, and with the model you do test it in the real-time application. That is one way of involving your healthcare sector with the topics. And the second topic that you would add to the healthcare sector is that the sensors and IoT, which means for the elderly care, for the child, even for the neurodevelopmental childs, all we had this healthcare sectors to be solved with the computer science problem, where it is being solved with computer vision. So I would like to, what to say, I share a small project with you, which I had to go with. Okay, it was my problem. It was an autism spectrum disorder where I had to deal with the child. And I bet you people that even now, I started this work and I got committed with this work 5 years back. And even now, this particular work, neurodevelopmental disorder analysis, is a trending research because we don't have a much proven results for them. See, my intention was to find the autistic characteristics in a child in an early stage. In the previous researches done before me, we found that the autism children were able to find that they are autistic only by the age of 4 and 5 after getting questionnaires from the parents. But what we felt and what we got to know from the doctors is that right from 6 months, we'll be able to find the autistic nature in a child. And that too, this could be identified during the breastfeeding of a child. During a breastfeeding, a mother can easily identify if it is a normal or not. I'm not talking about highly autistic child or even with a mild disorder, a mother will be able to identify during the breastfeeding. Okay, that was the initial stage that doctor says commit that on a real-time basis, this is the start time where the particular neurodevelopmental disorder can be found in the children. But till now, we are unable to prove it with our computer vision techniques. Okay, so at least even if not during breastfeeding, because we don't tend to take pictures or videos during that particular time, we don't have any other option to collect the data. Okay, or any data that could equalize my feeding data, I'm unable to collect it. So it's a good real domain if you could find a way. So what we have identified is what we, in the sense, the autistic community, what it has been identified is that only by at least if we cross the age of 1 year, we will be able to find the autism in kids. If somebody is able to give the early identification, even less than the 1 year, your paper is proven and you have got a very good research. And surprisingly, the neurodevelopmental child rate is now being increased in India. Earlier, it was only 1 on 255 kids, whereas it was 1 on 164 in US and in other abroad countries. As the WHO says, the rate is minimum when compared to the other countries. But then India is also having a rise in its neurodevelopmental rate. So if anybody is going to give a research there, it's again a good research. Okay, and it's like that you have, I have just told you for a neurodevelopmental disorder. The similar way stands for the cancer also. Too many cancers. Now I have worked with the breast cancer, so I know how the breast cancer does, and I can tell to them. See, though my papers tell about 95 and 98% of accuracy on a real-time basis to a maximum of 70%, early detection of breast cancer can be proved in real time. Okay. Do something that can be given to the society when you deal with your healthcare sector. Okay, then coming out to the precision medicine, here also we have a very problem there, which means to take care of the individual. See, I know different medicines do work differently on different people. So as of now, if I have one medicine which is of 5 mg composition, I know what it's going to react. But I cannot pinpoint of how much precision it's going to take for every individual to hold that medicine. So with this analytics, again, the precision medicine is again a research area. Which medicine, which composition to which is a good research here. So you can make it up. So all these combinations again need your background knowledge called your genetics to be known, your gene analysis. So where your gene analysis itself is a very big topic. So how do you combine your genes? What are the two composition of genes that you could get to combine to end up with a good genetic operation? See, like only in India, the gender revealing during the pregnancy is to be is found to be illegal. But when you go for the abroad countries, no, right from the 2 months to 3 months, they say they analyze the baby and say if the baby is of a good developing baby or if it has any neuro problems or anything that. So on the next stage, they will be having the combination of with them, telling that if the combination of these two genes come into picture, the baby will end up like this. So with the blood groups, even now we say the A negative blood group people have to combine with certain blood groups. I'm not revealing what is that blood group, but to combine with the other blood groups so that they end up with a good reproduction in their later stages. So like that, now US is trying hard to find the combination of genes so that they minimize the neurodevelopmental disorder in their child during their birth. Okay, so since they were able to identify in the womb itself, during the 2 to 3 months of the baby in the womb itself, they are able to identify it. Their next stage is to have the combination sequence of the genes. So they are going that far away. So we also have an opportunity. If anybody is really interested in the bio, along with the knowledge, simple knowledge about the genes, genetic analysis, you could combine and get an analysis of which two genes could end up in a good reproduction. Okay, so all these areas are done with the medicine. And as I say, it's a diagnostic positive, cancer positive, autism positive, too many stuffs with the diagnosis has been existing. And as I told you, just don't take out the data from 2020 or above data sets. Do take up any data sets which have got committed recently. And telemedicine and remote healthcare also, we know it's again an evolving technique where your remote healthcare, the monitoring of the patients without even coming out of the home, monitoring them 24/7, everything has as a good picture here. So all this will hold for your healthcare sector, and very importantly, your nanotechnology, your nanoparticles that has been found in the drugs, right? So all those will having, if you are interested in nanoparticles and nano combinations, these nanotech in healthcare. So with the advice of a paramedical person, you say you will be able to get a good picture of research here. Okay. Yes. So participants, can you mute your mic? Thank you. So then about your wearable health devices. So people are daily, I get messages with all my Fit pants. It started with all Fit Pro, which was about 13,000, and your Apple Fitbit all, it was like too many cost. And now I see 1,500, 1,200, which gives all the features of everything. So like this, people get different versions of this wearable track devices, but based upon the amount, the options are limited and it's available. But the ultimate aim is that how that a simple wearable band will be able to track so much in the body. Especially one important research gap here is that to find out the seizures. Okay, to find out the seizures. You people know what is seizures, and it's nothing but the fits that gets. Even for the kids, we have this fragile seizure, which are really tough to be monitored, which means we are really interested into the area if somebody will be able to give a wearable devices where it analyzes all the neurostructures of the brain and altering of the neurostructures, which leads to seizures in the near future. Suppose a seizure comes to a person not immediately on a particular nth time. It takes two to 3 minutes of time. Slowly it starts. And on the last third minute or the fourth minute, the particular person gets seizure. It is not that the erectness of their mouth, hand, or the legs that they have. Seizures now do come with unconsciousness also. And if a wearable device is able to track out all this along with the blood pressure, heartbeat, everything, if it is able to give in a very perfect way, we have developed a very good wearable device. So this is one area that can be patented. Okay, if you are able to give a wearable device, it could be patented. Then next is regenerative medicine. So regenerative medicine, very interesting is your stem cells. Probably the elders will be knowing it. Right after pregnancy, we do collect stem cells, which is used for curing so many diseases in the later stages. So those stem cells now, many people have failed to collect the stem cells during their delivery stage. So now people are trying to analyze what is the special composition lying out in the stem cells. Okay, why it is curing too many diseases. So they are finding out what is the composition of the stem cells so that they do recreate this. So this is called regenerative medicine. It is again a research with genes, genetic analysis and everything. So this is not just with the stem cells. This can be combined with the genetics from the father's family. If it is a girl child, if it is the first girl child of it, the father's side genetic analysis is being made and it is being integrated with the stem cell analysis. It's all evolving. Now it has just budded to start with. So all these have too many research gaps if you look into it. You have very few papers also published in the stem cells and tissue engineering soil. So you can get that. So this is theory which I'm going to skip. Okay, I guess I've given you some information and the research areas where your healthcare sector is given importance. And next is a very interesting and an easy topic. We as faculty knows what is this interdisciplinary approach for future education and learning purpose. Okay, so too many applications, too many apps have been developed where we get advancements in learning. Too many apps now. We open the Play Store, we get too many apps, but which apps are really effective for the kids, which apps can we trust for our kids is very important. So all this is measured using these parameters, like how well it's giving my personalized learning. So every kid does varies in their capability of understanding. So is my application adaptable with the learning stage of the child, and give the input to the child in that particular level has to be analyzed. So which means every child has to be personalized, analyzed for the capability and the capacity to adapt the content that they deliver, and only to that the application has to display the contents. So that's called the personalized learning, and this is again a huge analytics that's been approached, and it's a very good technology that's taking out the contents of the education in a very personalized way. For research scholars, a different pattern of content is being delivered. For a faculty, different pattern, and for an uneducated people, a different pattern of content is delivered. And all these again, content creation, all your analysis comes into picture here. And dealing about this virtual and augmented reality, AR and your VR, I happened to see a professor called Ling Tu, if I'm not wrong with his name. Recently, he gave a paper like where he created this AR and VR technology to make their students understand of how does the molecular structure of a compound looks like. So it's all the compounds interrelated to each other, and it has been with the virtual reality where the students can get into the molecular structure and see what are the different components lying out, as we experience when moving into a solar system and experiencing the sun, Venus, Neptune, everything lying around our head. Like this, the students were able to move inside a molecule and to find what are the different components of that molecular structure. So all these cubical structures of which were shown real to the students, where the output of the students was really good because they tend to see everything in a real world. It's one simple molecular structure that has been made like this. Anything can be made in your AR and VR for the learning purpose. So whichever topic we find it's to be very tough to learn, we make it into the concept of AR so that the people get a visually good, pleasing content for them to learn with. So, and also we know it's lifelong learning. And if somebody is really interested in gamification learning, again, I'm telling you with my problem, this gamification learning is very, very, very important to neurodevelopmental child. So actually these neurodevelopmental childs, like they tend to avoid human beings. So they get very aggressive when they see any of the human beings in front of them. So what it is that, so we tend to teach them through gadgets. So with the gadgets, they have to keep operating the gadgets for next, previous, and submit all. So in those cases, if somebody is not really good with their motor skills, no, this gamifications, like a game, we talk to them, the voice is being recorded, the hand gestures, like a game they do play and they get the content to be known by them. So this gamification, if somebody is very good in gaming also, again across gender. We know games to be played on a leisure time, but then these games also can be used for educating children like this. So all this have a research gap. So I have just pointed out the research gaps. You, whichever gap you feel you're okay with, you can start it. You can start elaborating the study on it, and if needed, you can also contact me so that I will get a clear picture. Because here I have just put what is what. I don't have time to deep on it. Okay. So you know this artificial intelligence in education. So here, one important problem is that in China, yes, as the students enter the campus, the students are analyzed with their emotions. Like if the student is coming to the school happily, is coming to the class happily, what is the response of the student in the particular class? Everything is being analyzed in a 360-degree camera. And with the emotion analysis, the teacher tend to talk to the students in that way. If they feel that a person is happy, yes, the person is happy, and we need not concentrate much on that particular student. Suppose if we feel any student is sad or being aggressive, we have to concentrate on that particular student. So as a faculty, we cannot keep looking at every people on the class. So what is that they have designed is a 360-degree camera which captures the emotions of the children, and if there is a change in the emotion, which means on a negative emotion, there is an alarm set along with the ID of the student. Okay, by identifying the face of the student, an alarm is being set, and with the alarm, the faculty comes to know that this particular child is now facing any problem or not. So this can be kept for every classes. And with this as a base scenario, we did, but this is too much tedious to do with, because too many what to say, challenges are there. How to have a 360-degree camera in every place. So it's all too much. How to capture images? What is the processing capability? So everything is a big challenge. So what we did this, like we took the base idea of this and we implemented this in a constrained classroom, which we call it as an examination cell. So we were able to sense the emotions of the students during the examination cell. So because we know that during examination, every student will be orderly arranged and they do face only one direction. So it is enough for me to keep a camera which only captures the faces. I don't want a 360-degree camera again. So we had cameras like that, and we tend to cover only 2 rows, which means 10 students, 5 rows in first row and 5 students in the second row. 10 students on a max. We were able to cover it. We were able to identify the emotion of them and tell them what they were doing. And on the secondary advancement, we were able to find if these people are doing more practices. But to be very frank, we were not able to end up with a good accuracy, because even if the person lifts it to a certain extent, the threshold is being overruled and we have got a trigger there. During examination, we know students cannot sit in one place for about 3 hours. So they keep, it's like they keep dragging themselves here and there, like moving their body, hands and everything. So all this got triggered. So which means my false positive cases got increased there. So obviously my accuracy got down there. Also areas, different ways where you can think, you can apply technology. Okay, so all these are the techniques that can be adopted for my learning education sectors. So all this collaborative learning, competency-based education. So like to develop every skills, you will be able to make it. And one important thing when we are dealing with this education sector is nowadays people put too many YouTube videos in the net for them to learn. Okay, what is the analysis going trending now is they keep collecting like what to say, if I'm looking into a video, okay, if I find that the 1th minute to the 1.30th, the next upcoming 30 seconds, so 1 to 1.30 seconds, if I'm repeating it again and again, which means the content that has been delivered on that particular instant of time is clear. Okay, suppose if this is being done by n number of people on the video, okay, it means the content has to be made clear. So you could even put a supplementary video for that particular topic that you discussed there. From the 1th minute to the 1.30th minute, what is the content that you delivered can be even be put as an additional video there. So this goes with the streaming analysis. So as we keep streaming the data and as we keep repeating the data, live streaming data analytics, this problem is being taken. So like this education also holds different sectors for so evolution. Okay, so all this is being dealt. And yes, coming back to the third important gap, whereas the smart cities and urban planning. So we have too much crores invested for the smart city development. So how did this idea came into picture? We find too many applications, too many projects, funding and everything. So finally, we came up with smart city only with the evolution of the importance of computer science and engineering. So we know what the smart city is about. The first and foremost problem in the smart city is to solve the pollution. Okay, so in order to solve the pollution, just to solve pollution, too many applications came into picture. Okay, we had too many sensors to monitor the pollution, people, the moving crowd there, and too many substantial features were analyzed there. And then with the analysis, again, my data analytics came into picture, and then we started removing pollution. So how to remove a pollution is again another topic there. So like this, removing your waste management, dealing out with your traffic. So all this comes into your smart city development. So with all this one area, still it is an evolving technique. Trust me, still people are funding for the smart city development. So it is a continuous process. Okay, it is really a continuous process. Now, recently, the Smart India Hackathon, which is being released this particular year, people did ask for too many like web-based applications for the Smart India Hackathon. I mean, in the Smart India Hackathon, to develop the smart city, too many applications were posted. One such applications which I got very interested is that one applications where we submit an application we submit a complaint to any of your municipal corporation, right? We don't know where our application is there, who is holding it, where it has been halted, nothing is being known. So there were a clear picture and the company was about to fund if anybody is working for it. So we collect very simple way. We collect the different sectors that's there in the government who works in the service sector for us. And for every sector, we create an interface page. If the application that we submit, we have a login, and the application that we submit takes a date and takes an ID. And until the problem is solved, the application keeps tracking of the different stages of the services. Okay, if a particular person holds an application for more than 2 or 3 days, he will be expelled from that process and his authority takes in charge of doing it. So if this is the case, we were able to get a clear picture of where our application is and what is it actually happening. Okay, this might seem to be very simple on a web-based application, but again, the interdisciplinary concept comes into picture. Okay, so we haven't even thought. Most of the people are facing this problem. If we submit any document inside an office, we don't know where our document is, what is the stage of the document, and nothing. See if an application is being developed and if it is being authorized, see how easy a problem gets solved. Okay. This, I also wanted to add up something. So you can check out in the net called way2cbe.com. Okay, I'm giving it an open site. It's a way2cbe.com. I suppose my brother was doing his first 2 years of undergraduate and I was in my postgraduate, if I'm not wrong. So we really don't know to which bus do we need to take to moving from one source to destination. We were dumbstruck. We don't know which bus comes to this particular stand, which bus we need to take, where we have to go. Nothing was known to us. So that was one point we felt that something has to be given for this particular problem. So in 2011, we gave out this way2cbe.com, which holded all the details of all the public buses that is running, public and private buses running inside Coimbatore, and what is the route for every buses. It's simply data collection we did. Even our parents asked, being two engineers, why do you want to simply collect the data? We said it's okay. And we collected the data. After collecting the data, we formed a link between the data. Even if suppose you get down in any of your wrong place, you just open the app, enter where is the place that you are standing and where is it you want to move. The app will tell you which bus will come and at what time and to which route all it moves to. Okay, every clear picture. Why I'm quoting is that I'm not blowing my own trumpet. We face all these problems in our everyday to-day life. The only thing is we don't try to map it with the technology and we don't try to solve the problem. If we try to solve the problem, too many research problems are in front of our eyes in our day-to-day activity. So like this, if you think of how smart your city wants to be, you can end up. So now it's again, like with the sensors and detection of the road cleavages all. So it is all been done now. So again, good analytics is being done there of patching up of the road, everything. This also took pictures from your geostructures all, and again, image processing into picture. And they also analyzed to which portion of the road has to be put in first. So everything is now being ongoing. If we have anything to add upon for them, again, the city is being made smart again. So like all your cleavages, your drainage cleaning, your automatic drainage cleaning system. So too many stuffs are there with your smart city development. So all these are problems. So if I share this particular PPT, you can come reading out with this topic. You will be able to collect the different problems here. So as I told you, so intelligent transport system is there again, your sustainable energy sources. So to be very simple, which type of building to be built in which area is again a challenging task. Should I build a residential area in this particular place? Should I develop an office in this particular area? Is again a challenging task. Again, we will be able to do it with the intervention of the computer vision. So computer does tell me what is the surrounding, who are the people around it, what are the shops nearby. If you keep a shop, people will be coming, or if it is a residential area, keep a residential area. If it is an office purpose, what sort of office you can keep there? everything is again intervention, interdisciplinary action here. Okay. So all these planning, everything can take into picture. Okay. Just give me a minute. So like this, you can have your sensors, as I told, your waste management sensors, your garbage collection. So even your IoT, many IoT sensors can be placed and too many interconnections between the sensors. You can collect traffic signals with your sensors. So too many things. Speeding, we are able to know many of the places cameras and speeding things are limited now. So like this, you have options of improving. So look into the city that you are living in. You will be able to find 10 problems there. Okay, then this is what the citizen engagement and participation, as I told you, with the app, Smart India Hackathon app, everybody needs to contribute, and with the feedbacks, you have an analysis. So all this can happen with my smart. And coming out to the biotechnology advancement. So with the biotechnology advancement, we should have some basic knowledge about this bio. Without this bio knowledge, without the basic knowledge, or without having an who knows something about this bio, starting out a project with this will be a tedious one. Be it any interdisciplinary, you should have the expertise people with us in hand. Then our research goes good and we can prove it on a real-time basis. So as I told you, when I did my project of autism, I had a doctor with me. When I had cancer, I had a doctor with me. So neuro doctor was there, cancer doctor was there. So different doctors will be there. So you tend to get what is happening in the real time, how a patient is being viewed in a real case. So everything is being analyzed with them. So dealing out with this biotechnology, again, as I told you, your genetics comes into picture. So your gene alteration, it's called gene editing. So you edit your gene. So I don't know how far you people are aware that the blood group of a kid in the womb can be changed. Suppose if a rare blood group is being there for a kid, if it's been identified, if it is a very rare blood group, you could change the combination so that the child, when coming out of the womb, will have a very different blood group. You say you want O positive blood group or A positive, which is easily got into, which can be easily acquired. You don't want your kid to have your AB negative or any negative blood. There is a chance of giving out the combinations in such a way that the child coming out of the womb can have the blood group that you intended for. Okay, such possibilities are also there with my biotechnology solve. So again, if that is the case, then gene editing goes very easy there. If you are able to modify the blood group of a child in the womb, then gene editing is very easy task. We could have too much combinations. We could have a approach like combining a gene, making it a crossover. Whatever we study with the genetic analysis, everything can be applied with the gene editing to end up with the different genes. We can also reproduce our preparental genes all. So all those are for us. So these are all the research gaps that you can work for. And again, for the personalized medicine. So how far your medicine does works for a particular person. So that can be taken. When we deal with agricultural biotechnology, very promising area now. As we say, we are destroying our agricultural lands. We want to take the productivity of the agriculture within a small stipulated area. In that case, what is the soil nature? What is the fertilizer? What is the combination that could make so that I end up with a better yield? So all this is being addressed in this agricultural biotechnology. So here also we are working on it. If anybody is interested, can also ping me. So we have all the background knowledge of it. So you can also combine with this. So this important another pathway for this agricultural stuff is that to identify your leaf decay and the plant decay. So decay of plants, it is really a toughest task. Until now, any research could not prove one single model to identify the rust in the leaf or a decay in the leaf of, or at least 10 or group of plants. They were able to build one model for one plant. If it is of a crop, say paddy, for paddy, one model was designed. If it is for another plant, say X or Y, different models for X, Y is being developed. We cannot even cluster the crops and give out one simple model there. So if somebody is able to identify the plants, we can give one model for that particular grouped plants and we will be able to give out a better solution there. Okay, so all that comes into the agricultural biotechnology. Then you have the synthetic biotechnology, you have the combinations, cross combination of the crops to yield the new plant. So all this can be done. So if you're taking anything with this agricultural, do sign an MOU with any of the agri department, any agricultural college, have a professor by your side and get to know the knowledge, unless and until you're from an, what to say, agricultural family. If you're not from an agricultural family, you do have a professor by hand with that. Okay. So all this again, the reputation of it, again, the stem cell research, everything comes into this bio gene. Then vaccination development and immunotherapy. We would have heard so much about this vaccination after this COVID. Vaccine is best, this is best, that is best, this gives me heart attack, that doesn't give us heart attack. So many combinations. But to be on a very note, any medicine cannot be generalized to people like that. If it is Covaxin suited for one particular person, not the case it suits for every person. So again, this vaccine development has to be made personalized. So again, the amount of vaccination that you take, the composition of vaccine that you intake, everything has to be personalized. So this should need some basic bio knowledge. So all this bioinformatics will help me to do that. Okay, so that's with the bioengineering process. So next this is cognitive science and HCI. This has too many problems with it. If you are dealing with cognitive science, it's again the computer vision, the artificial intelligence. There's too many things that comes into picture. Okay, so you can do anything with this cognitive sciences. So the some problems that I have, this is just what is cognitive science and what is HCI is being developed. See, it's again even if we see a simple web application, we find emotion of the person who's using the website. So that's again the cognitive behavior of the person is being analyzed, and based upon the cognitive behavior, your web content keeps changing in a dynamic way. Okay, so on the former cases, it was like based on the search engines and your semantics and the web history that was developed. But now it is reading out your senses. It is reading out your cognitive radio senses, and it is taking out the pictures like that. So it gives you a dynamic change of the website working with as per your mood. You would have heard that based upon the emotion, songs, musics will be played. So your emotion is being taken into picture. Based upon your emotion, the musics are played to you, and even the humanoids are there. Humanoids tend to talk to us based upon the mood. So everything happens. Your Alexa, you talk something to Alexa, Alexa keeps identifying what is that you said, what is the mood of your at that particular time. Everything is being analyzed by Alexa, and it's all being done. So everything that you take is now with the HCI. Anything that we tend to interact with the computer, everything has its own research area. This mental models and HCI design is where still under evolution. Still under evolution. It is tough to read the mind. One toughest task is that to read the mind when a person is sleeping. Okay, when I want to analyze what is running in my mind during the sleep, is the toughest task, and people are still trying to give a test bed for this, and we are analyzing on it. Okay, so we did this experiment for this neuro kids only. We were able to find that the kids were even talking to them during their sleep also. We tend to say that they are talking, but we don't know what they were talking, on which emotion they were talking, because we find that the signals were moving, their EEG and ECG signals were moving. I mean, not EEG, EEG signals were moving here and there, which means the hike of it says that the person is thinking something deep during their sleep also, which means they don't maintain a stable equilibrium state when they are sleeping. Okay, so again, the next stage of it would be, what is the reason for this? How to suppress this? A person has to take a minimum of 3-4 hours of deep sleep, and out of which, I mean, 6 hours we sleep, out of which 3 to 4 hours they should take a deep sleep. And what is happening to the child with the deep sleep? All this is again analysis. Again, the mental models of it is being analyzed. All this comes into the HCI analysis. So memory, learning, emotion, aesthetics. So everything that you take comes under this stuffs. Okay, I think I'm running out of time. I'll move quickly. I will try to patch up everything to you so that you can elaborate on it, and you can also get to me on any topic if you want. So next is the blockchain and decentralization for social impact. So this for sector, military sector, and your stock exchange sectors. These three sectors are the topmost sectors where your blockchain is being dealt with. First, dealing out with the health sector, I will tell you, because it's my personal experience, right? So when we are dealing with the personal experience with the healthcare sector, what we found was that the detail of the patients were not revealed to us. Yes, we stand to be a researcher, and it is not necessary for either the doctor or the parents to share their particular report, particular child or any patient's reports to us. But on the same case, what if I'm moving from one place to the other place? If I'm moving from India to US, I need my records. I bet you go ask your doctors, any hospitals, you go ask for your records, they give only the summary of the records and they don't give you the entire record. Okay, but that shouldn't be the case, right? If I want to know the complete history of it, everything has to be shared to the next upcoming doctor. So what we see is that you have it everything in a blockchain basis, where only the doctors will be able to see of it and not the intermediate. Even you cannot see it and you don't want to see at all. If you're moving from one place to the other place, every doctor should be in touch and they should be knowing what has really happened to that particular patient on an earlier stage and what will be happening to them on the upcoming future. So these blockchains in the healthcare sectors is much more needed to store the data and to make it a decentralized one. Okay, so this is with the healthcare sector. And regarding the stocks, that you know, stocks are really very, very important to run any economic status of a country. So how could the stocks be maintained? Don't have the stocks to be to be saved in one single repository, and don't make it decentralized also. Okay, so you give it in a ledger format, okay, which is called an immutable ledger, where we term it in the blockchain. So have it as an immutable ledger where you will be able to see what the stock is about, but you cannot alter what is the stock about. So make everything of the stock to be immutable. So all this immutable can be taken. And obviously in the military cases of the third case, yes, even there the blockchains are important to save the details that they have collected and to transmit the collected detail from one portion of the military sections to the other state military parts. Everything has to be transmitted in a very secured way. So these are the three important security sectors where now blockchain is being concentrated to work with, which means people are trying to improve the accuracy and the performance of the blockchain. Okay, so all this comes into picture. So that's what it's for the financial inclusions like management of privacy. So all this goes very broader sense. All these areas also you can, and supply chain transparency. So we know that every product that comes to us lies on a very big supply chain. The product on an initial stage would have started with a rate of about 3 rupees or 4 rupees on an average for any product, say X. Okay, but once it comes to the customer on the end user, the rate of it will be 20 or 25. So which means the entire network which is being lying out in the supply chain is incurring 1 rupee or 2 rupee for them. So which is really unnecessary for the end user to be paid. Yes, of course, for the logistics, for the transport facilities, everything we have to pay. Without paying, we cannot even buy any product. But we should check, are we paying good reasonable amount for the product? So in that case, a blockchain with the initial amount is to be transferred to every person lying out in the supply chain, from the producer to the consumer, to the endpoint user. This amount has to be shared, and so that every person in the supply chain knows if they are paid perfect. And the end user will also know if they are paying for the right person for the right task. So exchange of goods, foreign exchange of goods, right? All this comes to picture here. So you can have an analysis over there. And again, the voting and government systems, we know voting caste. If it is maintained in a blockchain, nobody can cheat. Nobody can cheat the number or the count that is being given. So all this resistance can be brought to the blockchain, which means I do maintain a decentralized social platforms. Okay. But one difficult task is that to accept this blockchain. Even if I run a business, I say in the supply chain, everybody will know what the rate that I quoted, which means many people will not accept it because we'll be ending up with a loss there. So acceptance of this blockchain technology for the supply chain sector is all tedious. A little bit, it takes time for us to adapt all. And in the space exploration and its Earth's benefits, as we know, all the sectors that we learned, healthcare, education, bio, paramedical, everything that we learned will come into this space exploration. Every problem, because what has happened in our real-time life will not happen in the space. Yes, the gravity of it, the atmosphere, the humidity, everything gets changes, and different medicines tend to react differently. The emotions, the sounds that we hear, everything, every problem that we state for our Earth is gonna be different for the problem that we face on the space. So all that it's what I have discussed here: Earth observation, environmental monitoring, medical advancements, material sciences, and your space spin-off technologies. So like your memory foam and your portable cordless vacuums. What happens with your cordless vacuums? How do we communicate from the people being in the space to the Earth? Your NLP will come into picture here. Your natural language processing will tell what could be the next thing that they wanted to convey. What is the motion of the people, astronauts residing in the space, and what is their current health condition? Everything can be dealt. Any problem that has been dealt on the Earth can be dealt on the space also, because it has a very varied structure with that. So all that it has been explained here. Okay. Then coming out to the funding and support for research, the futuristic research. So like first and foremost idea that I give to every researcher is that even if it is of a very simple idea that you get, please document it somewhere. I don't advise you to implement it, write a paper and produce a complete picture or anything. If you feel this idea is a novel idea, do document it somewhere. I say it's a document, at least do patent it somewhere. And whenever you are working, okay, I bet you that if you have an interdisciplinary people along with you who has a very good subject knowledge, okay, you will be authorized good. You will be awarded good. You will be identified good. So all this will happen automatically. Okay, and you can expect good funding there. So too many fundings is there. So you can approach any of this funding. There are also private sectors. We did all the problems like contacting, signing an MOU with the doctors, and for the agriculture, we did sign an MOU with the Agri University. So all that happened for us. So we we did everything having a specialized subject expert with us. Okay, so that's between the collaboration between an academia and industry could also be. You can even pick up any software companies. Need not be a very top tier one company. Any small company which is a registered company, so that they give you some sort of technical support. You keep feeding them with ideas and they keep giving you some solutions for it. Okay, in that case you can speed up your research in that. So always your industry and academia collaboration is always a fruitful collaboration. It is obvious for any interdisciplinary approaches like that. Okay, so this is something with the part and solve. I just share it. You can get through all this. Okay, so challenges and obstacles I'm not detailing because everybody would have faced too many challenges. Your concerns are really challenged. Concerned forms for starting up any research is a very big problem. The processing capability, bringing out the novelty. So all this comes to be very, very challenging. Okay, so all these challenges could be dealt. Your funding, tools, requirements, everything can be a challenge. And these are some of the identified topics that I've dealt so far. So like on a very wider range, like I've identified what are the topics on which you can explore. So one is autism, which is still under evolution. Still we people are working on it. So you can support the brain image processing, elderly care, your EV designing, especially EV mission for agriculture. Okay. Tesla, okay, Tesla is now working for this EV missions. So they gave the Tesla cars now. After the car, they are about to give their EV tractors now. Okay, so EV designing, then agricultural improvements, any improvements that you make with your agriculture, as I said, for your crop cultivation, soil moisture control, even your irrigation system, and all this, even your rust formation in your pipes for the irrigation system, all can be taken into account. How much amount of rust is being formed and what is the composition that is going to make you or bring you this rust, everything can be taken there. So then integration of security into all the previously said sectors can be taken. Then AI in blockchain, explainable AI is again a trending topic here. So far, we learned that the model is being fed with the input. It does some operation, some mathematical operation. It gives you a output, which means a classification, or be it a regression problem. It gives you output. But this explainable AI will tell you a clear white box strategy, which means it will tell you how this combination is made, how this decision is made, what is that ended up with this particular decision. Everything can be clearly explained with an explainable AI. Any AI problem that is lying out now, you can convert it into an explainable AI and get your papers published. It's an easy way of doing it. Okay, that's an explainable AI. Then IoT and analytics. So where do you apply this IoT is again a task for you to identify. Then protecting websites. We get too many pirated websites, all right. So how to protect your websites, and it's not your crowds, it's your crowd analysis. Okay, so your crowd analysis can be taken, and when the crowd is being analyzed, your disaster management can come into picture. So all these sorts of analysis can be added interdisciplinary. So too many areas, so all these areas can be combined with one another so that you can end up with a good research there. So these are the some possible areas of research that I explored and I have been worked with, and where I could give you certain insights for it. So you can ask more if it is needed. You can just drop me a mail or anything. So with that, I'm ending up my session here. So hope the session was useful to you. And my email ID is being shared with the coordinator, so you can get to know in touch with her. Yes. Thank you all. Divya ma'am.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I should really appreciate you for such an energetic presentation, and you are touching with all the real time and all that. It was such a wonderful presentation. I'm so glad that you touched upon all the societal needs. So happy for that. So, even before you started the session, there were a few feedbacks in the WhatsApp group as well. That shows how your presentation was. Thank you so much for hosting such a wonderful session, ma'am. Now, I would like to give this dais to participants. If you have any queries, you may kindly ask to the resource person here. Kindly raise your hand and I'll unmute you so you could ask the query.